What's up, scrubs? It is Jank Week. That's right, I'm going to take the next 5 days to release these brews, these heinous concoctions that I have created in my elixir laboratory over the past 2 months. I've been saving them all up for this week, and I've got some real heinous shit here. Some twists on some classically good decks that make them not so good, and some other decks that you will see have a running theme, I guess, with Jank. I just like experimenting with those decks, and it's ultimately going to culminate in what I believe is my magnum opus of Jank at the 5th episode. Anyway, here we have Branded Burn, aka TurboTax. The idea for this is very simple. We gimp all of the Despia, all of the branded combos from meta contention, take out all of the Bestials and put them in the side deck, and just try to turbo out 3 of the silly, goofy deck collector dragons. And on top of that, we are supplementing the Loan Shark with Chain Energy to dig a little deeper into the pockets of our opponent. This deck folds to any kind of hand trap, more so than any other branded deck you have seen before, and that's why it's perfect. Because once you set this up, your opponent's on a clock, and that clock does tick, and even though you have no grind game to speak of past Theater of the Branded, that's enough when your opponent can only activate so many cards before they, fucking die. Alright, let's get into the card by card. We've got Ad Libitum, 1 copy, Search It Off Tragedy. You know the deal. 3 a looper. I don't think I really have to say anything. 2 Albaz. I really wanted to play 1 and then play a Blazing Cartesia so that I could have a light target for Albion. But I cut it because I didn't want to draw the Albaz, because then we lose, and that's not fun, right? Imagine losing while playing this deck. We're playing 3 of the Edge Imp Chain, 2 Patchwork, and 2 Polymerization as part of the Edge Imp Frightfur engine. Very commonplace and branded, but it's especially good for us because just having an extra dark body like Edge Imp Chain is fantastic, and having it also search out another copy of itself essentially, and a Polymerization which could be used and is used a lot of the time to make another Masquerade. Mwah, perfecto. Great. We are also on 3 Tragedy just because we need more monsters, and 2 Comedy because, I don't know, if they imperm us we die, and it's just another body. We're playing 3 Allure of Darkness because we gotta draw into those chain energies, man, and if we banish a Tragedy along the way, it's not a tragedy. Anyway, we're also on 3 Branded Fusion. I don't think I have to explain this. What I will explain, though, is, like we said before, don't make Albion, but Lubellion is perfectly fine for this, because Lubellion gets us Masquerade, and also can do so while leaving itself on board to become a material for the second Masquerade, with something like another random Despia in hand, maybe an Ad Libitum with a Polymerization. It works. It just works. Branded Fusion is such a crazy card. Prosby, along with Allure to help with our little consistency. We don't need anything other than, Lubellion, Masquerade. That's all we need, really, when you think about it. Branded opening for consistency. Super Poly is fantastic in any branded strategy, but it's not super good for us because, I'd much rather have Polymerization, But we're still playing 3 because it is an excellent board breaker, and it can also, in a very strict pinch, make the 3rd Masquerade, or the 2nd if we're really fucked. Or can just make something like Dragosepelia or Chimera with our opponent's board so that we can make our tax dragons, and that's pretty nice. Branded in Red is another fusion spell that is a little niche, so if you're in specific situations, you can search it out with, a Luber, and just go off to the races with that. I mean, you gotta get 3. Chain Energy, I already explained this. Theater. So Theater has been cut from from the modern branded Bestial decks, because it does provide a very, very hard grime game to manage, but that can normally be fulfilled with the branded continuous spells, like branded Lost, branded Regained, etc. That's if you're playing bestial cards. We're not doing that. This is all of the grind game we have, because if we get our board outed, we lose. But it's also a fusion spell, and it's also a Despia card that is a fusion spell that's not necessarily branded in red, that we could search off of a Luber. And that's pretty good. I'm running 3 of these and only 1 branded in red, just because I feel like Theater is better to have on turn 1. It's better to have than branded in red. Branded in red is good, of course, but Theater is the only way you could ever conceivably win if they out your silly little burn setup. In the extra, it's just fusion turbo stuff. A lot of these are super poly targets. Albion's still in here. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, man. He's just kind of there. I could have put a second Garra, but I didn't feel like it. 3 Masquerade, because 3 Masquerade. 3 Lubellion, because it's 3 Lubellion. And then occasionally you could go into like Mirror Jade, but that's too optimal. More likely, gonna go into something like Chloritis, because you know, you gotta go to Chloritis. Anyways, on the sides is all the Bestials, Shifter, because this card is crazy, and Twin Twister, because we can afford to take a discard, especially if it's something like Chain, in order to get those sweet, sweet spell trap pops. And we're citing that in case of, I don't know, Runic or something. Alright, see you guys in the games.
Yoshi Jana the Seesaw Man, you can just go to hell. That was not enjoyable.